without further ado, Neil, Dirk, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce both of you.
Neil, how are you? Probably better than Eri yesterday in the car, no?
Yeah, I'm a bit more used to it than
Yeah,
she
well,
is.
so if you guys really want to have fun this afternoon, I'm doing rides with you guys. So maybe we'll finally make some money.
Well, there you
So,
go.
I don't know. I presume most of you guys know us. We started out about 2 years ago on the XRPL. Initially, I was a big investor in many projects building on the XRPL, and that's the reason why I chose the XRPL more than the technology. I really, really like the community. And I think that's what the Bearable Bull just said is crucial. Those in real life events are crucial. And the technology is interesting, but actually it is about the people. And that's something that Bob always said as well. We should focus on the people. And I really think that we succeeded in starting 2 years ago, just before Terra Luna and Celsius went down. And we were able to keep on building in a very difficult period of time, fully self-funded, fully community-backed. And I think that's our biggest strength. Lots of people also don't realize that there is way more, of course, than the NFTs. We have been building on, and I'll call it the technology layer in the past 18 months. And it's not the most sexy thing, you know, it's pretty boring. It doesn't have visuals. Neil is a pretty boring guy, but he's also very, very intelligent. And in silence, we were able to keep onboarding intelligent people like Bob, of course, like Chris, former CTO from BPM Wallet. And we are about, or we did launch our beta as a proof of concept, as a minimum viable product last week. And the reactions were pretty positive. And I think that Neil can explain you guys what the technology layer is, because Xspectar Labs is actually the company that creates the technology, and Xspectar, the project, is actually the first client of that other company that builds the technology. And I think that during the period of time that we have been building, that we actually have proven that a crypto-based or NFT-focused company can be very successful. We were able to onboard lots of people from multiple chains to the XRP ledger, massive backing from anyone. And we were able to sell in a very, very difficult period of time for over or close to 15 million XRP, which is quite impressive. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody owed you something because they bet against it.
And so Neil, I think that it's really important that you explain everybody what you have been building in the past 12 to 18 months.
So yeah, it's not as sexy as some of the stuff that Dirk gets up to, but essentially it starts with, you know, with technology you have to get something to work first. You have to grow from, you know, a decent point. And for us, it was essentially getting it so that we could take payments, but not just on the XRPL, but on any chain. So there's a big difference between building a system that is designed specifically to do one thing with one chain and designing a system that can work on any chain, because all the chains behind the scenes work slightly differently. So you have to have these layers of systems built on top of each other, so you can abstract all that complication away to something that works in a similar way for all the different types of chains or payment providers you're trying to use. So that's how we started it. With that, we came the minting. So then minting is a similar type of process, but they all work in different ways, right? So we've obviously got minting on the XRPL. We've got EVM chains, smart contract-based minting, and then Hedera have got a nice little API over the top of their smart contracts, which works slightly differently. So again, it's about abstracting all that into a common way so that when people get to use our platform, they're not having to think about any of that. They're just saying, I would like to mint on that chain, or I'd like to take payments from, you know, that currency. And the system in the background ties that all together and abstracts all the complications away from you. And the reason why we started that is because that's the commerce layer of the metaverse. Without that, the metaverse is just people just interacting verbally. But that's not what the metaverse is going to be. It's about ownership of goods. It's about trading goods, moving things around. So we have to have all those things in place before anyone can use it. Because the first thing they want to do is trade, or at least say that they own certain things, you know, wear hats, different skins. It could be representing real life things in the metaverse, or the metaverse things that started in the metaverse then become real life things. We've seen that happen too with people making jewelry. Can't remember what his name is now. Met him in Austin. Yeah,
No idea.
some of you guys have got his jewelry on. Tibu, yes. So that's gone the other way around. So he could have done all that in the metaverse, but no, now he's doing it in the physical too, right? So we'll see a lot of that going through too. But yeah, so on top of that now, well, it's been a crazy few weeks. So we had the land picking that needed to be done, because that's the next phase now, because we're ready to start with the beta. So the land picking was a really big challenge for us to get sorted. I think it was a good success. There was a couple of hiccups maybe, and I'll always judge a system based on if it crashes. It didn't, so I'm always happy if it doesn't crash. And then obviously we've got the beta.
Yeah, I think, well, when we did the land picking, we had like 75,000 API calls in the first 14 minutes or something, and nothing broke. So that's pretty good. I also think that lots of people still don't see the potential of the metaverse, or of the 3D interconnected worlds. To me, and I'm not a gamer, you know, we're using Unreal Engine as a game engine for the visuals. But to me, all of this is like the 3D internet. It's the discovery area, the Xspectar world, where people meet up, which is a social thing.
Yeah.
But there's way more. It's e-commerce, and going from one server through another to another server through a doorway that actually acts as a hyperlink, and websites as 3D experiences. And that can be games, but it can also be companies that actually do education or sell physical products.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, that's the difference between what we're building and what other teams are building or trying to build. And in the beta that we've got, we have a room with a laptop set up, so you can go in and have a look. But the way that it works, the portals that Dirk's referring to, so the whole makeup of the metaverse has to be something that can scale. We can't do that ourselves. We can't host all this ourselves. We can't build it all ourselves. It would be impossible. We would need, well, far too many people to do that. So what we've built is, I think it's I don't know if there's anything quite like it other than the internet. So if anyone in here could build a private server, that private server, we refer to it as a private server, we'll probably give it a better name. But it's your server. You host it yourself. You get the environment inside built yourself. And it has to just conform to a few rules. And those rules allow it to be on the platform. Once it's on the platform, the users will be able to go between portals. So from one server to another server. And as Bob has put examples of with the spray can that's available, you can put things inside your servers, and they can then travel with you to another server. So that's the bit that's quite unique. So I think that a good way of well, we actually had this during the beta. So we've got a guy who's built a private server, and he's got a lot of artwork. And when we were running around, everyone was going around with the spray cans and spray paint all over his artwork. So it's an example of, he never thought that would happen. And there's loads of private servers, you can do what you want, but other people might be able to come in with things you never thought of. It may improve it, it may not if someone's spraying them. So there's some rules, by the way, that we're going to put in place so that you can stop that type of thing in your server. But the point is, these servers are different, genuinely different, built by the people who want to build them, which means when there's 1,000 of these things, there could genuinely be 1,000 different things. It's not us trying to create 1,000 different things that we're trying to make different. This is 1,000 different people building 1,000 different things. That's the difference between what other people are building.
Yeah, and I think that's crucial to what we're doing. I think we have been able to build the tools to attract independent developers. And with our beta, we were pretty successful in giving extra utility to over 40 other XRPL projects, mainly XRPL projects. We have a couple of HBAR projects, XDC and Flare as well. And we also have like 25 independent builders, independent developers with a ton of experience using Unreal Engine. And in our conversations with them, there were a few guys. There was one guy, and that was what really struck me. He has been using Unreal Engine for the past 20 years, mostly in the movie industry, motion capture. And he literally said, I have been waiting 7 years for something like this.
Mhm.
And that gave me quite a lot of confidence. I think that Eri has a couple of questions for us
Yes.
because we have so many things going on. It's like, and I always think, well, to us it makes sense, Eri, but for most people it can maybe sound a little bit chaotic, and that's probably my character as well. So
No, I just have 3 quick questions for you. And I do want to congratulate you on the launch of the beta.
Thank you.
It's beautiful if you've not visited. It's absolutely stunning what they've done. I'm kind of curious, actually, the inspiration for the designs. I know it's not one of the official 3 questions I have for you, but I'm curious, where did that inspiration come from?
well, you know, we strongly believe that we are not the one that should be the director of all of that. So we were able to engage or employ 13 people from Serbia that actually have been working for companies like Art Bully, and they're professionals doing Unreal Engine. And we gave them the liberty to create the town square area. And we give the liberty to the independent builders to create whatever they want. And I think that should be the approach, because it's like it has to come from the community. It's pretty easy to get a bunch of money and pay big companies to get their IP. We are doing that as well, by the way. We will be announcing a partnership with the Formula One team in the next few months. So we are pretty confident that. Well, I signed an NDA, but you know, I always, it's very hard to keep my mouth shut, but I'm really excited, you know, and I'm just one of you guys. I'm not a developer, I'm not a gamer, but if it excites me and if I get it, I think most of you will, you know.
Back to fast cars again, huh?
30 minutes, Eri, we'll meet each other at the parking lot.
Okay, so here's the first question. And this is, I think, what maybe some people don't realize with the metaverse is it truly provides this depth of engagement between the user and the person who builds. And that person who builds can be an individual or it could be a big brand. But this new level of engagement is truly revolutionary because you've got this connection like we've never had before, and it's 24/7, and it's from wherever you are in the world. It's remarkable. So what I'm curious with, within the builders that are building, I'm sure you launched with a lot of builders, and you came out of the gates with a lot of different diverse projects. But if you were to attract something that you think is going to really work inside a metaverse, and something that you might know that's coming, what excites you? You know, in the e-commerce side, or is it the concerts, or what is it that really excites you?
You know, there are a couple of studies that, and lots of people perceive that, for example, concerts are something that is pretty important. However, it does, I think that e-commerce is pretty cool, and the connection with physical products as well. And of course, I think that blockchain and crypto can revolutionize the world, and it gives the opportunity to people wherever in the world to create stuff and to charge whatever the market thinks it's worth, you know. Lots of developers in Nigeria or India or whatever, once Americans know that they're in India, they just get paid less for exactly the same that somebody else creates. So I think it's a huge opportunity to change the world.
I agree. The second question of 3 was, I'm interested in secondary markets in every sector of the world. There are secondary markets which provide, you know, opportunity for ecosystems to thrive. And I'm a landowner. I bought my first 4 plots last year, and then I bought a little more in Tokyo City.
Well, we're still waiting for the Eri karaoke bar. No?
Eri karaoke bar might come, might not. I'm not sure. So that's a question I have. Is it, what about if I want to sell my land, or maybe I want to lease my land? or maybe I want to rent it for short-term rentals. As an entrepreneur and a landowner in your space, will I be able to do that?
Well, that's definitely on the roadmap. And one of the reasons why we didn't mint the land yet, as you know, we have 88,888 plots. One of the reasons why we didn't mint it yet is because we were looking forward to getting hooks live. To me, a little bit disappointing that it didn't go live on mainnet. As you know, we are in the governance alliance of Zahao as well. Programmability is pretty important for people that hold land because they might want to lease it out or they might want to do other stuff with it. So in the meantime, we have gotten, Neil has won the hackathon of our Consensus and XDC. We have grants coming up from multiple chains.
Yeah.
For some reason, and I look to our Ripple friends over there, Ripple doesn't seem really interested in what we're doing, which is hugely frustrating. Lots of other chains do recognize it. And I would like to do it on the XRPL, but we don't take a decision yet. I think it's really worthwhile waiting. With Neil's system, his backend system, there will be a possibility of minting on a chain. And if people want to hold those NFTs on another chain, we will have a burn and reissue mechanism as well. So, but I think that we should wait because I'm really keen on doing it on the XRPL. I see that RippleX has been doing some stuff regarding hooks as well. So let's see how it goes. I'm pretty impatient by nature, but for once I'll try to withhold myself.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure because I don't have all the details. I'm only going off of the press release, but Ripple announced a new partnership and a collaboration with Axelar. Maybe we can get some of that answer here over the weekend, but it looks like the technology is going to be possibly available through Axelar to execute some sort of trigger on the ledger to do a smart contract. I'm kind of looking out of the corner of my eyes at the Ripple guys here. Just want to see, I don't know. So I think there's might be, the great thing about this space is that it's constantly innovating. And there's innovation that we haven't even dreamed of yet. And there's a lot of innovation that's happening that we don't know about yet. So I think that taking it step by step, and we don't know, there might be something on the mainnet in the
And you have to keep
future.
it, well, we have the EVM chain as well, and Neil getting the XDC grant and being in very good contact, thanks to you, with Hugo Fillion from Flare as well. We have EVM compatibility. Sorry, still a little bit jet lagged, or it was the alcohol with the lunch yesterday. So yeah, I think that that lots of things are coming, and we have to keep in mind. I'm pretty proud of the team. We're 58 people, fully self-funded. No external investors. We started out when everything went to, and we're still there, and we have broken lots of records on the XRPL. When we started our token sale, we had the largest volume on the ledger. When we started our NFT sales, we had a volume that was higher in 24 hours than the 50 biggest other projects combined. And we keep doing that without getting love from our friends.
It's tough love.
And we're not leaving, by the way.
It's tough love, which is sometimes the best kind of love. Keeps pushing you, Dirk.
Well, definitely. So yeah, well, it keeps me very motivated. So thank you, guys.
My last question is that, do you think someday, this is in a perfect world for me, can I be in your metaverse, and will it be possible? And this is probably an answer is going to come from Neil here. Is it possible to jump from one metaverse to another without a lot of friction? I'd love to be able to go, for example, from Xspectar to Futureverse or any other metaverse that comes up into our ecosystem in a way that's really fun and cool, and that you can take your assets with you. And I just don't know if it's possible. And so that's my question.
So it's a question we get asked a lot. Surprise, surprise. There's a few technical hurdles moving between metaverses as they are today, because ours is built in Unreal. Some of them are built in Unity. Some of them are built on custom frameworks that are just running inside a browser. There's other problems to do with users, so authenticating users, knowing who they are, transferring between one and another. However, ignoring all those problems for a minute, the way that we're building ours, it certainly is interoperable. So if you've got, as you mentioned, right, Futureverse, so they're building some stuff, right? So if they were to build their stuff and build it inside the private servers that we've got, then their stuff would work inside our metaverse. We aren't building anything that would work in someone else's metaverse other than the actual users, you know, because there has to be some level of control in terms of voice, for example, right? If voice wasn't something that was somewhat controlled, it would be absolute chaos. So there's certain like centralized features, and then there's decentralized features. The servers are all decentralized. You can do what you want. So from that perspective, it is already compatible with other metaverses. They just have to build something in it. We don't really mind what's in that server. So yeah, from our perspective, it is. But if you're a customer of a browser, like our browser is in Unreal, that's going to be a challenge, just simply because the technology would be quite clumsy to go from one application to another application, which is the reality that we're in today. That's a clunky process.
That's the difference between the CEO and the CTO. I would say, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
well.
Neil says, yeah, but we have to do this and that. But we could easily, for example, integrate the root network. We are integrating multiple chains.
we
We
could
could easily integrate the root network. We could even decide to use what they're building as well. We always have tried to reach out to everybody, and we would love to collaborate with every serious builder. If you ask about interoperability, well, the foundation layer that we have built is fully interoperable. Every builder can use our platform and build it, run it on their own server, use whatever token they want to use on a chain that we've integrated, and they use our SDKs, our APIs, and everything runs, and we have nothing to do with it. We just take a small percentage on every transaction.
So it's like a modular model where you can extract some of that out and put it here.
And the cool thing is that you can have digital in-game assets on whatever chain you want, and you can move them in between chains, and you can take those assets from one server to another. I can buy a microphone or a crazy bunny costume in the karaoke bar from Eri, and I can go to Fluff World and walk around in my dedicated Eri
It's
costume, you know?
superpower.
Yeah.
You turned into a
And it
fluff.
actually works, you know? That's something that I'm not a typical crypto bro, not anymore for sure. I've learned my lesson. And like there are so many projects that claim to build stuff or that have fantastic white papers. I'm definitely not the best white paper writer. I'm probably not the best CEO around as well. I'm very atypical, but we are very persistent, you know, and we keep on doing that. We keep on engaging, we keep on paying everybody, and we actually deliver stuff. And what Neil has built, it's not like there are marketplaces. We have built our own marketplace, multi-chain, multi-wallet, everything. Nobody seems to notice. They say, well, there are the guys that launched some crazy agent NFTs. We have a marketplace.
Yeah.
We have built all
Congratulations.
of that. We have built a land picking tool. And all of that can be white labeled for any other builder. And that's where the value is. We have no intention of building everything ourselves. It would take us hundreds of millions and hundreds of employees. We really focus on the builders. And after the beta, we had a new wave of builders that attacked us with questions and want to participate. There is a good chance that in wave 2 of the beta, we will have hundreds of independent builders. We don't pay them. They build whatever the fuck they want using our tools.
That's the next phase of where we're going, by the way. So to go with what Dirk was saying about how we're doing how the servers all come together. So we've got essentially 2 products inside the server. So we have the EDK, which is the Environment Development Kit, which is a new way of phrasing it, an SDK. But then we have an SDK as well. So the EDK is the bit that we have to manage ourselves so that the environments that people make are safe. So if you can build whatever you want, there's a risk there that you could put something malicious inside of that environment, right? Because it's going to run locally on your hardware. So the EDK is like a sandbox to protect that, and that's going to constantly evolve. The SDKs are the APIs. This is the interaction with the blockchains without having to think about blockchains. So that's the 2 layers within what.
Boring, Neil.
Boring.
Okay, so
No,
we're
no,
well
but
over
we got to
time.
wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm going to let
definitely,
you.
Eri, I
get
definitely
some-
want to invite you for another ride later today. Everybody's welcome in the room here, just behind. We have the Xspectar room. There is a laptop. The beta is running.
Oh.
We will be there answering some questions, hopefully having some drinks as well.
Yeah.
And I really want to thank all of you because it's thanks to you guys that we were able
Yeah.
to do that. Not thanks to Ripple, not thanks to any VC. It's the community that made this happen.
Yeah, no, it's true.
All right.